cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
At the tone, the time will be
0 dark 30.
Okay, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. We have quite a little discussion to do here. I tell you, technology, huh? Our friend. Okay, folks, what do we got going on? Well, I reported yesterday and talked about the Antifa attacks that are happening in Georgia. Well, some more news has come out, some more details. Isn't it interesting how the old expression was, well, the devil's in the details? He certainly is. We've talked about how everything that happens is a high-level move that plays out on lower levels, right? Sometimes it plays out on big levels, like the Ukraine-Russia war, right? That is a high-level, big money game. And then there's little things that happen, little events that happen within bigger events. And we learn who the players are, and we learn what their agendas are. Well, I've got a good one for you here, folks. We've used the term lawfare to describe using lawyers to punish and destroy people. You know, lawfare. Well, it seems that is becoming a more relevant term, a more direct term. Antifa, yesterday in Georgia, had 23 of their members arrested. 23. I'm surprised they were arrested, in all truth. I'm surprised they weren't just let go right away. Well, perhaps law enforcement is tired of being hit upside the head with bricks or shot in the face with fireworks. In any event, one of the people who was arrested was, that's right, folks, an attorney, a lawfare warrior. A lawyer. Not only a lawyer, but a lawyer for the Southern Poverty Law Center. What is that telling us? We need to look at this very closely, folks. I think it's very important that we look at this as closely as we possibly can. The people in charge, the people who want to control the world, that want to take away America and your rights, they will do so by any means necessary. And that, I think, is a very scary proposition, very troubling proposition. They're willing to do anything. Right, several years ago, we had the leaders of the Democrat political party come out and say, this would be in Colorado, I believe, that they're willing to lie, cheat, and steal to win. We have seen and heard of numerous, and I mean numerous, individuals who have been arrested and charged with all manner of fraud, deceit, lying, perjury, etc. over voting, or voting, shall we say, irregularities, or fraud during elections. They have no problem committing all of these crimes because it furthers their agenda. We watched, folks, in 2020, during the mostly peaceful protests, protesters allowed to get away with everything they could. And police just stood around and took a beating from them, because someone politically higher up said, no, we're not going to prosecute them. All right, we're not going to arrest them. We're not going to put them in jail. We're going to allow this crime to continue. Even the Vice President, Kamala Harris, right, went around and got bail arranged for. This is before she was vice president, of course. And this never came up, right? She sought bail for these criminals so they could go back out, and she encouraged them to continue doing what they were doing. But to have a lawyer who is directly a member of the Southern Poverty Law Center to be engaged and then arrested for acts of terror, a terrorist, right? Now, this attorney, did not attend a school board meeting. That's not the crime he committed. Right? He didn't stand up and fight for protecting children from perverts in school who want to do drag queen shows and have trans in all the bathrooms. No, he didn't stand up and fight for that. He actually committed violent acts. What does that tell you, right, about these people? I'm going to go a step further now. I'm going to go a step further, and then we're going to get to the meat of this. To be an FBI agent, you have to be an attorney. You have to have a law degree to be an attorney. What kind of behavior have we seen coming from attorneys? I'm sorry, from FBI agents who are attorneys. Well, we've seen them commit heinous acts. Right? For someone who understands the Constitution and the law, being students of law, these attorneys are willfully violating the rights of others. Hey, and important people too, like President Trump. They seem to have no problem, violating Fourth and Fifth Amendment rules. They have no problem violating the First Amendment that people have. I think they want to take your free speech and turn it into a crime. These are also attorneys. And they're willing to do this. Well, they're doing it under the color of law, of course. They have a badge and someone told them to do it, and they're just doing their duty. Right? But this is where we get to it. Folks, these leftists, they're not just, shall we say, trailer park trash or ghetto scum. They're not college dropouts. These are people with degrees, with authority, in positions of power who know better. And they're willing to, either acting as an agent for the government or acting as an agent against the government, they're willing to commit all manner of crime, including serious acts of violence and terrorism. I mean, do you remember that part in law school when you went there where it was recommended that lawyers go out and firebomb the police? I don't remember that day in school where, well, in certain circumstances, it's okay to club another citizen of America over the head and steal all their money. I don't remember that day in law school. I don't remember the day in law school where they said, okay, if you're dissatisfied with something, what you do is you go loot a store and then burn it to the ground. I don't remember that day either. These are supposed to be attorneys, really, really intelligent people, folks. Well, let's just change that from really intelligent to well-educated or well-trained, like a good dog. And I think that's where the rubber meets the road. These people are willing to do anything, whether it's legal or not, right? Because they are trained. They're conditioned. See, that's what a dog is. A dog can be, like, for example, a German Shepherd, trained and conditioned to do exactly as it's told. And the dog does not understand right from wrong. This idea that dogs are police, canine, no, they're not. They're not police. They're a tool. They're a biological tool that is trained and conditioned to behave and act as it's directed, right or wrong. Right or wrong. And trust me, I've witnessed this firsthand. Okay. When someone turns a dog on someone else and that person has committed no crime, the dog doesn't understand what it's doing. It's just following an order. How convenient, how thoughtful, right? Well, that's what these people are doing. They've been conditioned. They've been programmed. They hate America. They know the rules. They know better, yet they're willing to commit these acts of violence. They're willing to destroy America. Right? They know no limit. There's no end to them. The only thing that stops them, folks, and keeps them in check is your willingness to stand up and tell them no. Your willingness to protect yourself, your Second Amendment, and your willingness to speak out against them. The First Amendment, you have to use these. These are weapons in a war against tyrants. That's what they're there for. That's exactly what they're there for. See, when the paper stops restraining government, when the First and Second and Fourth and Fifth and the Ninth and 10th Amendments, the government ignores them. It blatantly ignores them. Then those become your tools. They become my tools, all of our tools, to say, hey, we're now going to use these against you because you refuse to accept them as restrictions. Now we're going to use them as tools, literally. By tools, you know what I mean, right? What do you do with the tool? Well, you apply it to get work done. The First Amendment is a very powerful tool. Use it. Free speech. Contact your representatives in Washington. This is what I keep saying. This is what you have to do. This is part of the process while things get worse and worse and worse. Attorneys breaking the law. Attorneys becoming lawless. Attorneys becoming terrorists. Attorneys adopting anti-American, communist, violent tactics. Right? You thought during the protests seeing, wacky college professors engaged in the Summer of Love, right? You thought that was a little bit wild? They're wacky, silly, wacky college professors. Now we have, right, attorneys. Attorneys who work for prominent law firms like the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is, in fact, an activist law firm. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Are you prepared for what comes next? Semper Fi, Godspeed.